Hi, I have a message for you. I wanted to pop on live as I didn't pop on yesterday, but I'm here now. Um, and I normally go on a bit later than this, but I've decided I'm going to have an early night tonight. Didn't sleep too well last night, just one of those nights, nothing major. And so I'm going to maybe watch a nice film or do something and chill. So I thought I would pop on now. Say hi if you're there. Is anyone else getting like really slack with? I'm not slack with personal hygiene. I've had a bath, but I haven't brushed my hair. I've whacked it up. I've got not a scrap of makeup on. Hi, Katie. I've got the odd eyelash left, extension just left to come out. I've got a nice cold sore. When cold sore's funny because I was thinking, oh, I'm not actually too fussed about all of this. Hi, Julia. I'm not too fussed about all of this. And then my body tells me otherwise because that is when you run down. So even though I tell myself that everything's fine, you can, Lee, you can cope. I'm just going to tell you something in a minute, actually. And hi, Jude. Welcome. And so your body tells you something different. So in a way, I was quite glad that I got that cold sore because it just made me stop in my tracks and go, I have got thoughts going on about this. Is there anything I need to do to take care of myself? Do I need to slow down? What do I need to do? And because I hadn't recognised maybe some level of overthinking in my head, hi Jackie, this cold sore is telling me otherwise. So I'm listening to it. I'm listening to my cold sore. It's telling me something. Katie, yeah, but I'm still going to work as a teacher. Don't care what I look like, sod it. I'm sure you look absolutely lovely. Yes, Philip, I'm good, thank you. So I just wanted to share something. Hi, Ivy. I wanted to share, and I'd love you to share this video as ever. All I ask is that you share the video for me. I'll keep doing them. If you keep sharing them, I'll keep doing them. I'll still do them anyway, to be honest, even if you don't. But just saying that, just fibbing. If you are someone who usually suffers with anxiety, I want to tell you something. Hi, Charlotte. Every single person, not even just in the UK, worldwide, right now is struggling with more anxious thinking, overthinking, whatever you want to call it. There's more uncertainty and unpredictability going on right now than we've probably ever experienced in our lifetime. I mean, I wasn't in the war. I'm sure that was much worse. So anyone that was in wartime that maybe watched this is thinking, you don't know you're living. Fine, yeah, and I get that. But in terms of my generation, certainly, this is probably one of the most uncertain times in terms of unpredictability and a bit of scaring and that sort of thing. So you're going to have a higher level, potentially, of overthinking, of questions, of wondering, of what ifs. Totally and utterly normal. Now, when I used to get anxious, what I used to do, and this is why I want to spread this message to anyone who's still suffering from anxiety, and at the end of this video as well, I'm going to tell you something else about anyone who wants any more support, so stick with me. But when I was really anxious, if this had have happened at that time where I suffered with anxiety, what would have happened is I would have experienced physiologically in my body the physical symptoms of all the worry that I would be doing potentially about this current situation. Now, then I probably would have had a thought that, oh my goodness, my anxiety is getting worse. It's coming back. It's going to get worse than ever. And I would see it like this illness that I've got that's coming back to bite me on the arse, and I'm not going to be able to control it, and it's going to be really terrible. And yet, because I'm no longer in that situation where I'm generally anxious all the time, and I might have times at the moment where I dip in and out of anxiety when I've got a load of thinking going on or feel stressed, I can tell you now it's totally normal. So please, 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 and this is why I really want you to share this video. Anybody that suffers with anxiety who is feeling it right now, please do not write yourself off as this is your anxiety, this is what happens, you're going to get worse, you're not coping as well as anybody else, because that is bullshit. Like, you are managing and you are coping, and if that means sometimes you're stuck in bed and you're scared or you're crying, you're still managing. These are difficult times. It's not easy for anybody. So please, please give yourself a break. When we start to have more certainty, when we get out of what seems like the danger zone, when we start being able to have a little bit more freedom and control again, it will settle, okay? So give yourself a break. This is not your anxiety coming to attack you and grab you and not let you go. This is just a difficult experience for everybody. So, of course, we're going to have more anxious thinking. Of course, we're going to feel more overwhelmed as a result. There's nothing wrong with us. We're not broken. We're just doing a lot of wondering and questioning and feeling a little bit scared. It's okay. Yeah? I do not suffer in general with anxiety anymore. I have felt pangs of anxiety more in this last couple of weeks on and off than I have in a long time. In the nicest possible way, I don't care. Like, of course I have. Of course I have. That's okay. That's understandable. And I just seem, when I have those times where I feel anxious, they're the times where I go, right, whoa, take a step back. Come off reading loads of stuff on social media. Stop watching the news. Stop doing this. And I slow myself down and I take myself out of a situation where I'm giving myself loads to think about and I'm adding loads of value. Sorry, someone keeps trying to call me. Giving it loads of value to the thoughts that I'm having. Yeah? Just give yourself that space and that time away from that. So I'm going to pop a link in here. Some of you will already know I've done a post. I have a coaching group. I'm trying to think what I can do to help people. I am going to do as many lives as I possibly can. I've been doing some videos for parents in the week as well that are completely free. Let's have a look. What is it? Okay, can't seem to multitask at the moment. I'm losing my ability to multitask because I'm not doing much. Okay, so I've just tagged in there on my website. A lot of you will have heard me talk about my private members club. I have a private members club where it's a paid membership. People come in there and I support them. I do coaching calls every week. There's courses in there. And we have a private group where people ask me questions and I do, I do answer everybody's questions specifically in there and support people. Now, it's always been a set price and it's always been £24.95 a month. What I've done is I've done it now, so there's 2 levels of membership. One starts at £11.99, so it's more affordable for people. What I've also done, given the current situation, is I've set it up now so that anybody that joins that wants support, you will sign up, but then the payment doesn't get taken for 2 weeks. So it basically gives you 2 weeks for free. You can leave at any time, cancel whenever you want, but have a look anyway. Pop the link there and all the details are on there. How do I get the parents' videos? I can't think off the top of my head what the link is. If you send me, Claire, your email address by private message, I'll pop you on the list. The next one is tomorrow, actually. It'll be out tomorrow. So, just drop me an email. Emma, it's just what I was talking about at the beginning of this call. Everybody's anxiety is through the roof. Think about anxiety. It's not a thing. It's not something that happens. It's not something that takes over you out of your control. It is because you have a whole load more anxious thinking of. And that's why I was thinking, how can I make my private members club more accessible to people in terms of like a lower entry price and also a couple of weeks leeway in order to not pay when you start up for 2 weeks, is because all I'm doing in there is pointing people in the direction of their mental health. Even in and amongst all of this stuff, we are innately well underneath. We have the capacity to be calm, to have peace of mind, to be okay with the situation that we currently find ourselves in. Yes, it's challenging, but there are different ways in which we can experience it. In a place where I'm on my own, all my friends are outside of my town. Well, do you know what, Lee? I think the irony of that at the moment is that none of our friends, even if they live 2 doors up, none of us can access friends at the moment unless it's via message or online. And I've noticed some really great groups online that have been set up of people like doing pub nights and with hundreds and thousands of strangers coming together and chatting and things. So if you have a search online, you will find places where you can chat to people, where you can talk to people. You sound great, thanks. Hope you're all well. Felt like hope you're well. Had a meltdown last week, panic attack. Yeah, it does feel like that because when you're in a panic attack, you are not thinking clearly. You cannot access your rational mind. So you have to just let it do its thing, let the adrenaline kick in, let it pass and let it go. And you will always come out of it the other side. I know it can feel so awful in the midst of it, but do you know what? It's always going to pass. And it's about learning how to understand more about it all so that when you start that first bit of being startled by a panic attack, that it kicks in with you quicker as to what's going on and you don't fear it. It's the fear of the physical symptoms partly, like, oh, my heart's beating, or I just felt a jolt, or what's that? And that's what spirals, and that's what gets to the position where people find themselves really stuck. But it doesn't have to be forever. Definitely, if you look in the direction of your mental health and well-being, that you're innately well, how all this stuff works, it will get easier. I promise you. So, yeah, Emma, I think people are feeling worse because the situation's out of control. But here's the thing, and what I love about the work that I do is that the key part of my job is helping people get to the place where I've got to. And the reason I've got to the place I've got to is because I know I can't control bugger all, actually. Nothing. I can't. I can try and plan, I can try and do, but it can be just whipped from underneath me at any possible time. So part of my recovery from feeling really extremely anxious all the time was about acceptance that I'm not actually in control of anything, and it's only ever temporary. And so, do you know what? In a way, and as annoying as this might sound, in a way, I think us being stuck and feeling out of control is going to show us our resilience. It's going to show us that actually we weren't in control of this at all and we managed. And actually it'd be a real good learning point for a lot of anxious people, to be honest. Helps just to hear your voice when you're alone and isolated. Oh, that's nice. Okay, you're not alone, you're never alone. You can be in a room full of people. I've got a really busy house at the moment, really busy house. There's a lot of us here. For one reason or other, I won't go into, but we've got a busy house. Now, that doesn't mean you can't feel lonely. There'll be people on their own now wishing they were in a busy house. There'll be people in busy houses wishing they were alone. So, I couldn't agree more with regards to panic attacks. The more you fight, the longer it lasts. Absolutely. If I let it take over me for as long as it lasts, it'll go away as quick as it comes. Yes, it does. So the key is learning more and more so it actually doesn't get to that point in the first place. It doesn't get to that extreme point because you'll recognise it much quicker, which is fab. So well done you. So I'm going to leave it there. As I said, I'd love you to share it. I did say before, I'll keep doing these if you share them. I'm not going to lie to you, I'll keep doing them anyway, but I'd love you to share them. And I have popped the link pinned to the top for anyone who's interested in my private members group. I've done a lower price point now to make it more accessible for people. I can't do it any less than I'm doing it because it's an alternative to people getting support and exploring and getting the help that they want. And I appreciate not everybody can afford to go and see a therapist or a coach every week for £50-60 or whatever. And that was the whole point of me doing that in the first place, to make it much more accessible to people. And hopefully I've made it even more accessible now at a starting lower price point, and also with 2 weeks free at the moment so that people can have a bit of a breather. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to love you and leave you, and I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Bye for now.